situation, our production manager, Mr. Nelson, tells me that you have been awarded the contract to print our new series of books entitled How to Study. I was delighted to have this news, as it has always been a pleasure to deal with you. As Mr. Nelson told you, How to Study will be issued in 2 volumes. I am sending you today by express all the copies for the first volume. I am sure I need not remind you that we are in a hurry to get printed copies of this book. Unless we can have them in about 6 weeks, we stand to lose a great deal on this year's sales. So that we may have peace of mind, please acknowledge receipt of the material I am sending you as soon as it arrives. In this transaction, this letter will confirm our telephone conversation of last night. As we decided at that time, we shall bind the book in 32-page signatures. I am somewhat concerned that the date on which you would like to have bound copies of the book is our promise to make an advance shipment of 100 copies on April 2nd, which was based on the assumption that we would have everything we need by February 25th. Because we did not receive your binding instructions until yesterday, we are considerably behind schedule. In spite of this fact, however, we shall do our best to make good on our promise. It is my understanding that when the books are ready, we are to ship them to your Chicago office at any favorable time. In this transaction, thank you for your letter confirming our telephone conversation of March 6th. As I told you over the telephone, we had hoped to give you all necessary copy and instructions by February 25th. However, we ran into many complications at the office, not the least of which was the illness of my assistant, who has been handling the production of our How to Study series. We realize that we have upset your original schedule, and if you cannot deliver 100 copies to us by April 2nd, it will certainly not be your fault. If, in spite of all the trouble we have caused you, you can still get us a few copies by that time, you will be our friend for life. I know we can depend on you in this matter. In this transaction, I am sending you today by express the cover design for the first volume of our How to Study series. The same design is to be used on the second volume. I shall leave it up to you to make whatever dies are necessary in whatever style you think best. Please be sure to send the bill for these dies direct to me. Also, please return the original drawing to me. We are still hoping that you will be able to get 100 copies of the first book to us in time for the annual convention of the National Teachers Association in Chicago on April 2nd. We have had many inquiries about our How to Study series from teachers. It would be a great advantage to us to be able to display the book during the meeting at this time. In this transaction, the cover design arrived this morning, and we are having dies made immediately. As you request, I shall send the bill for the dies direct to you. I shall also return the drawing to you. I am sending today, under another cover, 2 dummies that are bound in the cloth you have selected. When you examine the dummies, keep in mind that the stamping on them is not as good as it will be on the finished job. This is simply a rough piece of work, but it will give you some idea of what the final book will look like. We have been making fine progress on both printing and binding, and I think I can promise you now that we shall have 100 copies for you to display at the meeting in Chicago on April 2nd. Please let us know as soon as possible your reaction to these dummies in this transaction.
Open the window, but if it gets too
Yeah.
cold.
No, that's right. How was that?
It's good.
That was varied from starting out at 1:30 and ending at 1:50.